What's up, guys? Greeny here. Quick one for members only in the trading group. We touched on macro analysis, so Bitcoin, Solana, why we're currently shorting, where I would look for longs, and then we touched on meme coin trades that we've been printing on, and then we touched a little bit on NFTs that I'm looking at across Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin as well. And then lastly, answered a few community-based questions as well. So let me know if you have any questions in the group. Just ping me and I'll reply to you as soon as possible. Hope you enjoy. Cheers. Welcome, guys. It's good to be back. Thought I'd jump on, do a voice call. With the current market, we're in a bit of an interesting point. We're actually, as you can see on the screen here, which we'll look at all of this and unpack it at the moment. We're very much in a really indecisive, or decisive, you could call it, point right now. Like, this is the mid-range of, you could call this like a high time frame range now for the last week or so. So I'm just really watching, like, I know Aussie's short and I am short too right now. And the reason I'm short right now is just due to momentum. Like, you still got this liquidity. You've still got, like Bookie's been saying, you've like untapped CME closes down here as well. So in theory, we could get rejected back down here, retest some of this liquidity, take this liquidity, and then sort of move higher. In saying that, obviously what we also haven't done is really revisit the real bottom side of this sort of macro range, or medium to macro range, that we've currently put in. So for me right now, I'm favoring shorts due to momentum. So as you can see on the 4 hours, we are still very much in oversold territory. I'm waiting for potential bearish divergence to form. So as you can see, bearish divergence is when you have candles on a low side here, but a higher RSI or CCI, and then a lower CCI or RSI and a higher candle close here. So this is on the 4 hour. That was a good example of not only bearish divergence, but also a double top at the top of this range that we had here, grabbing all that liquidity over here on the side, which we have had for a long period of time, this sort of last 6 months or so. And that's where we did originally short from at the high 64K level. I closed that short about down here. Now, I probably could have printed a little bit more, but I was very happy with a short from the top of the range to the middle of the range. And right now we are retesting the middle of the range. So for me to flip bullish, I probably would say it needs to cool down. And then you probably need to flip this support level and then move back up towards sort of probably the 0.25 level. And then obviously flip that and then look for the top of the range as well. So right now it's in a very indecisive sort of area. What we're seeing is that we are sort of really making a decision here about what price is about to do. But if we do look at stochastic momentum on the 4 hours, which closes in a minute, so we will get an update on the stochastic momentum. So we are very overextended. If I just show you this is Crown's tool. There's a 20% discount off this tool right now, which is fantastic. So you just use the code BDAY. Use the code BDAY if you want to sign up for it. I can give you the link. I think it's about $350 US from memory, maybe a little bit cheaper than that. So yeah, if you want to have it, it's a fantastic tool because it gives you these momentum triggers as well. So if we this is about to close literally in a minute, so we'll see where the next pivot is. There's a lot to unpack about this. It tracks obviously volatility, this one here. This is DMI, which is sort of like a slower indicator. Okay, so it looks like we have just closed and it's still at 57.3. Okay, so price is at 56.5. So momentum still is to the downside on the 4 hour. Let's look at the 1 day. 1 day is 53, so we're actually well above the 1 day. And as you can see, we're coming down. Like, this is why I do hesitate on the short. We're very overextended. We have a lot of room here. Volatility is coming down, so that shows me that more than likely, I might change that color just to make that a little bit easier. Volatility is coming down, so that shows me that we probably do cool off for maybe a day or two. But because we're very much down here in oversold territory, DMI sort of has come back down to the low as well. So again, this is what I mean. Like, I'm preferencing my short here because of the 4 hour. And if we do look at the weekly as well, the weekly still has a pivot We are right at the weekly pivot, but again, the weekly's only just opened 2 days ago, so you can't really take that into too much consideration. However, that does leave my macro bias as bearishness, because we still haven't really put in even a higher low. Like, this is lower lows. We have DMI coming down further. And that sort of thing. So for me on this, I still preference lows on the medium to high time frames. And if we do go back to the 4 hour, we are still, quite overextended. So we obviously dive in a little bit deeper. Let's look at the 2 hour. So the 2 hour is also overextended at 57.2. So it's coming down as well. And you've got, so the green candles down the bottom are also showing that the trend is moving towards bears as well. And then if we do look a little bit lower as well, so go the 1 hour. 1 hour pivot is, again, slightly above where we are. So preference still to the downside on low time frames. And then obviously I like to go the 15-minute and just see what's happening in the intra. So for the next sort of probably hour or two, we might sort of range around this level on this indicator. But essentially what we're looking at is we're just playing this mid-range right now. And we got rejected again there. We set a potential higher low here on the next 15-minute candle in 12 minutes. So I do preference short, and I know Aussie preferences short. And because the reason I preference short is if I do zoom out, guys, like I showed those who were here before, you still have all this liquidity down here that we haven't really touched, which is a CME gap down here as well. That we are kind of like, you might get rejected here, come back down, retest this liquidity. Like, all of that is a sort of strong support level 2. You've even got the wick back here from July. Okay. So I still preference short here, but I think I preference long if we do start to come down here and retest this liquidity down here in the low sort of 53 sort of K region. So I'm watching sort of probably around that high 55K. I'll probably be quite aggressive with my profits here. In this short, so 55.3, 55.5-ish, you could probably say, all the way down to, as low as, like, if we do go down to the bottom, 49K. But again, I'm watching quite a lot. And I suppose you could even say there's a bit of a trend there that we obviously haven't met. You've even got sort of a trend line here sort of forming as well. So again, I preference short side down, so low time frames going towards sort of mid-range here, taking a bit of this liquidity, then looking to move up again sort of in the coming weeks. So let me know if you have any questions. Throw them in the chat and I can have a look. Sweet. Okay. So sweet. That's Bitcoin. Let me know if you want anything in particular. So Bitcoin, preferencing that short. That's why I am short in this current trade. Not much profit yet, only 9% currently. But as you can see, I do have another sell order up here if we do chase that liquidity one more time. And my stop loss, I'm a little bit more risk adverse than Aussie. Aussie had his stop loss at 58K, so that's about there. I put my stop loss just above the wick in case we do wick up and steal a bit of this this liquidity up here, obviously, as well. So we obviously have swept. Oh, I didn't show you the bluefin. Here we go. So this is what I mean. So I do have a level up here at 57.55K. My stop loss is up here at 58.15. A little bit more risk adverse right now, and I'm in 7% profit at the moment. So hopefully we do go a little bit lower from here. But if we do come back here, I preference lower, but I do think maybe we do maybe set a higher low here and then look to make sort of something like that in the coming week or two is what I would be very much preferencing. And I currently, I'll be transparent with you guys, because of travel, I just am super risk adverse right now. That's why I've been really aggressive with my memecoin profit and really aggressive with my leverage futures trade. So just take that into consideration when I'm saying that I'm taking profits or setting stop losses, those types of things, because I just I don't want to ruin myself. I'll give you guys the trades, but because I can't sit in front of a chart, or I'm flying a couple places, I'm hanging out with some friends I haven't seen for a long time later this week as well. So little in real life events. I'd rather be just more profit taking and risk adverse with that sort of stuff. So I hope that makes sense about what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. Meta bonus, yes, I can look at Solana next with and Popcat. Yeah, amazing, mate. I can do that. So that's Bitcoin, guys. I hope that gives you insight into what I'm looking at. Let's go to Solana now too. If we go there. All right, so Solana, so we did, obviously, if you're in that long, any long from about, the low 120 region to the sort of up here to this breakout here at about 130-ish would be fine. As you can see, we have started to, this is on the daily, started to reach sort of mid-range. So bulls and bears are both fighting. Right now on the daily stochastic momentum, it is 126. So we are well above that. So Solana again looks quite bullish. And if you do compare that to Bitcoin, because this is obviously what you want to be looking at, we probably range against Bitcoin for a long period of time here. See, look at this, like that's October, sort of even to November before we see a resolution between Solana versus Bitcoin. In my opinion, I think this does continue up with a lot of strength. You've got momentum still very much up to the upside on high time frames. So for me, I still prefer Solana to Bitcoin right now. But yeah, right now with Solana, guys, we are watching this sort of level play out. And again, this can last, or like in theory, you usually see a breakout before about that sort of mark there. So in theory, we could go for another, 2 months of consolidation here for Solana and obviously Bitcoin, guys, if you do zoom out. But I'll just start zoom out a little bit for you guys just to see. So this is the weekly. As you can see, we are still, stochastic momentum is still to the downside. 138 is good, so that's come down a lot. That was 153, I think, last week, guys. So we are starting to reach levels where I get very bullish on taking big longs into Solana. I just think we do probably want to see it maybe bounce off this level here. If it doesn't bounce, then likely we do go to the bottom. You've got DMI, which is very much aggressive to the downside. So very interesting for me right now in Solana. And once I do start to see that, and you've got so CCI and RSI are still down in the sort of oversold territory. So for me, I think anything in this red box, like I've said for a while, so anything sort of below 127, all the way down to this wick at about 109 is probably a really good opportunity to long, but also probably spot buy Solana right now, guys. So that's on the weekly. It is good to look at the monthly, but it is quite, so the monthly still has a lot of room. The monthly still is at 153, but it is very slow. So it is always good to look at your lower time frames as well. Let's look at the 4 hour. So as you can see, the 4 hour is 135.7, which, only just closed. So it looks like Solana probably cools off again, kind of like what I just saw on Bitcoin. Likely we see a bit of a cool off for the next few hours. Let's just look in a little bit lower as well. What am I seeing here? 135. Yeah, so we're pretty much, I think we probably consolidate on Solana here. Maybe do come back down, retest this sort of low 130 region. But Bitcoin still, my preference is probably shorting from this mid-range like I showed you guys before. And then on the 1 hour, we're at 135. Yeah, so a lot of these oscillators are currently, we're pretty much at the pivot point for a lot of these. So likely we kind of chill sideways for a bit. Kind of like this, we've ranged all day sort of period. So what's that? 6 a.m. to, so 12 hours we've kind of ranged sideways. Haven't done too much today. So right now, I do preference Solana looks good. I think anything in this down here, anything below 130 is a very good spot buy. And obviously if we go lower, that's even better in my opinion. And obviously I probably am looking for shorts, ideally in this area. And again, I didn't get a chance to long it. Aussie did, so hopefully you guys are following him. He's been nailing it at the moment. So for me, just purely because I've been traveling, or this liquidation was when I was sleeping. So it is good to set some orders down here in this range. So for me, that's below 127, guys, all the way down to, if I zoom out, that's 109 is the sort of stop loss area that we'd be looking at. So your stop loss could be down here, and you could probably have sort of any limits up from about 110. 111 you could go all the way up to 127 is my ideal range. So if you're doing that, then obviously make sure your leverage is quite low, because otherwise your risk will be very high. So that's what I'm seeing for Solana. So here, I'll just link the stochastic in the chat. And use the code. It is a little bit expensive, so you can sign up there and use, the code might expire in a couple of days, but code 20% off. T Ward, doing well, mate. I hope you're doing well. So code BDAY, 20% off for this. It's excellent. I was chatting to Hui as well. He also bought this indicator. It's fantastic for scalping. And once I am back in Oz, in sort of just over a month now, guys, which is exciting, I definitely will be doing sort of probably live voice chats, voice calls with you guys, so that we can do some scalping and that sort of thing. So have crazy audio right now. Is it just me? T-Ward, what do you mean by crazy audio? I think everyone can hear me. I hope everyone can hear me. My normal Rode setup didn't work, unfortunately. So all right, so we'll look at WIF, because that was requested as well. Let's have a look. Just pulling that up now. I think I'm posting a chart on Twitter with WIF right now very shortly. Yeah, this looks very good, guys. Like, this is clearly sort of a bottom out range. I mean, worst case scenario, we do come back down to 1.05 bill. I think that's a steal for spot, and I steal if we do see it for longs. So for me, I'd be bidding anything for longs sort of below this sort of range there. So 1.37 all the way down to about, what's that, 1.05. I think that is a giga long opportunity for WIF, because this is a bull wedge if I've ever seen it, from literally March. So that's the third month. We're coming up on the 10th. So that's a 7 month. This breakout could be massive. Like, and I mean, if we look at where the target would be from the low to the high, I know I've got two fibs on, but 7 bill very much on the tables. And then obviously the 2.618 is at 11 bill. So, I mean, from here to this is why, for me, spot right now, WIF is fantastic. Like, that's a 4.3x. And then obviously if we go to the next one, which I do think could definitely happen, that's about a 6.6x for WIF. So yeah, I'm very bullish on WIF for spot, and I'm waiting for longs. Ideally, I want a long from sort of the bottom of this range down here. Maybe we don't see that. Maybe we do start to break out right now, which is kind of what I'm seeing on MOG. If I pull that one up, MOG is looking, and I'm fantastic. Like, I'm so grateful that we're in the MOG long. I know I took profits again because I just have, like, I'm flying a lot and I'm hanging out with some mates this week, so I won't be in front of the charts. But yeah, this long here was fantastic. This spot buy, I bought quite a bit of MOG down here, and we're breaking out of this potential bullish wedge too. And this was a great retest of liquidity. And I said for a long time, guys, that like you could say it was about sort of this level there. I think it was, from memory, about there. Like, once we broke this, I sold my bag up here in the $600 million range. And that was the best decision, guys, because then we got to buy MOG down here at 300 and below 300 million. So yeah, like we're traders, guys, and that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're taking full advantage. And I had this target for a very long time, the liquidation event, and then obviously I did have a lower fib if we retested it, which we didn't. So I'd be looking at this potentially breaking out. What you do want to see is volume start to increase as well, guys, to support this bullish wedge playing out. So you want to see some candles start to come in down the bottom, and you kind of want to see this break above that previous high, and then obviously kind of flip that and continue up a lot higher for MOG. So that's what I'm seeing for MOG. And then what was the other one? You asked Meta Bonus was PopCat. Okay, let's look at PopCat. Alrighty, let's look at PopCat. So this was one that didn't quite make it down to an area that I wanted to long. I was hoping to long down here at the 0.618 or this long-term sort of support level. We are still very much putting in lower highs, so you could probably say that's sort of the levels that you could watch. So if I just extend that and then maybe reduce that a little bit, I mean, you could probably say support is probably a little bit lower than what we have retested. So again, I'm waiting, probably, like, maybe we move up, and so be it. Maybe you could look for the breakout trade off the 0.382 like that. Or obviously I'd probably be looking to accumulate spot down in this sort of white circle region. If not, be looking for longs if we do retest that. But we are setting lower highs. We've got quite a few equal lows as well. So that shows me that a lot of buyers are sort of stepping in around this sort of region at that, what's that, 400, yeah, about the 400-ish, maybe a little bit higher. So 415 mil sort of region, guys, is what I would say we're looking at for PopCat. So if you do see it, probably even a retest of this one here, guys, at the low 520s, I think that's even a great buy. I might even look for longs around there as well. So this sort of region here. And I did say a 0.5, I think 505 was the level, but I can't remember, or 525. So if you are in that PopCat long, it looks really good here. Just keep an eye on it, guys, as well, because it like, I want to see it put in a higher low, which it kind of has. Like, it's put in now 2 high lows, so you want to see a third high low off the 0.5, and then that's probably a giga long play there, guys. So I'd probably say, like, if you want to be aggressive, you could put the stop loss below that low there, or if you want to be safer, you could probably put it well below these closes here, which is obviously the 0.618. And then we're targeting all-time highs, if not higher. So look at that. That's a 3.5 risk to reward sort of long opportunity there on PopCat. So that's what I'm looking at for PopCat at the moment as well, guys. So that's MetaBonus questions. All right. Let's have a look. You're welcome, mate. Yeah, no, anytime, mate. Love seeing you here, mate. It's been a while since I've seen you in the group, so thanks for coming back. GFI. I haven't heard of that one. GFI, let's have a look. I don't know if this is the one. How do I pronounce your name? Elki or Ekali? I don't want to butcher it, so I apologize. You might have to like sound it out for me. All right, I don't know if this is it, but this is crazy. Like 260 mil. I haven't heard of this one. So, I mean, just based purely on TA, without doing any research about what the meme or token is actually about, you kind of still got this long trend here that you want to see breaking. You have seen a change of trend here. As you can see, you've got sort of higher lows, another higher low. So if this fails to make another high low, it likely does revisit the 0.786. But if it does set a higher low here, okay, it probably looks to break out. You want to make sure that volume steps in down the bottom as well. So I hope that makes sense. EKLA. All right. How's my Aussie pronunciation? True Founder. I'll just call you True Founder. I kind of like that. All right. So that's some quick analysis on GFI. What was the other one? PP. I haven't looked at this. PP or Pepe, however you want to pronounce this one. I haven't looked at this one for a long time. Yeah, this is very much in a slow down trend, really. So I'm not really interested in something like that. There's better opportunities out there, like Mog and Pepe with look very good compared to something like this. So I probably fade that one. Arc Block is one I haven't heard of. You're bringing me to some obscure regions, but yeah, we'll look at some other memes that we're obviously in. This, what I don't like about this is the lack of volume, so I probably avoid anything on this. And again, this one's on ETH 2. I prefer Solana memes at the moment. Speaking of, let's look at some of our trades. So Kobe holders, let's have a look. Kobe's still very nice. Kobe has started to move up really nicely as well. We touched 4.4 or 4.5 mil earlier. And again, I've been really aggressive with profits, just again, like I said earlier, guys, because I'm traveling, so I don't get to look at the charts. But this is a perfect setup. Like, you cannot get more perfect than this. Off the 0.786 multiple times, okay. You also have seen a double bottom off this level. So for me, that was just a beautiful opportunity to take that trade, and it has worked out like significantly well. So you all should be up quite a lot. That's a 2.4x. It pumped up to 2.7x earlier today. So Kobe looks really good still, as long as you keep tracking new holders coming in, and as long as Bitcoin doesn't do anything too ridiculous. Selfie still looks really good. Last time I checked earlier, this looks really nice. I want to see a little bit more volume stepping in. This one's been shielded by some higher influences as well on the timeline, so that's why I'm like leaning on the more bullish side as well. But this looks really nice. Again, my TP, this is probably why we are starting to retest. You want to see this maybe create a new all-time high, a new high, and I am on the daily, so it is always good to zoom out and see. But yeah, the 4 hour looks to be trying to close above there. So yeah, it looks like we're maybe trying to attempt a new sort of high there. Then obviously your next target's up here at the 0.618, sort of that play. So that's Selfie. Let's look at Sigma. That one. It's kind of slowed down a little bit. So if you're looking here, yeah, so its volume, this is what I mean, like potentially, guys, this would probably be the weaker one out of all the plays. So if you did want to take more aggressive profits so you weren't in too many trades, this would probably be the one. It shows me weakness because we did see buyer step in here, as you can see, but the overall trend of volume is still down, guys. I want to see something different to this. I want to see a few more greens like this coming up here. But likely this does retest here. So this actually could be another buying opportunity on Sigma at that sort of $5.6 million range. So I'd be looking for a reaction like that with an invalidation level and closure below sort of 4.25 million. So that's Sigma. Let me look at BB. Again, I took very aggressive profits on BB just because I have been traveling. But as you can see, we're up. So like, there you go. First TP is hit. So that's a beautiful trade from there to there. Like, that's a 1.8x. And I mean, if that flips that and goes up there, then that's great to see as well. So this still has a lot of room, obviously, for a lot higher. So keep an eye on it. But that's first TP. That's a 1.8x. And something like that, I'd probably take, 50% or 55 or 60% off the table just to secure my initials in a market like this. But you are starting to see Memecoins perform well again, so maybe you could be a little bit more risk on. So this chart looks still very nice, but likely we do cool off a little bit on BB. Mumu is gonna be a slower play. This likely takes, I think, a couple of weeks before we maybe see a breakout. Yeah, like we could go, oh no, no, 23rd. So yeah, we could see a couple of weeks before we see Moo. So this one I won't check as regularly because we are still very much here, but we are holding above this retest of all-time highs, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6, 7, 8, like heaps of candles there on the daily. So if we don't hold this, that's bearish, and then I'd probably be looking for a play off this level here at the 26 price level, which is obviously still quite a breakdown from here, about a 30% breakdown. So keeping an eye on Moo there, but that's the level. And was that all the trades we were in? Can't remember, but I think that makes sense. So that's what I'm looking at with the trades there. Now, if there's no more questions, which there aren't in the chat right now, so let me know if there are any other questions, guys. I'll look at some NFTs because a few people are starting to consider a few NFTs. So let me pull up a few different options. All right, so Lil Pudgy, again, I just, like, there's nothing happening here. For me, I think you want to go with where the volume is, and the volume is obviously these collections up the top. So, I mean, like, Pudgy still likely outperform. I just think you could probably use your money a little bit quicker or a little bit more with volume and be a bit more aggressive with some trades than just holding some of them. But obviously, if you are a bigger wallet, then if you have the money to sort of disperse, and holding Pudgies isn't a bad play. Doodles obviously got swept. I think next, let me know that it got swept by one wallet or something. I don't know. I haven't looked. I'd have to look. It was a while ago, I think. But I'm just scrolling. Yeah, I think it was swept by a couple of wallets, and they've listed it all quite high. But yeah, I mentioned this a while ago. Like 152 listed is crazy. And the wall, can I see the wall? I can't remember how I do that. It's been such a long time since I've been on Blur, lol. Depth, here we go. Yeah, there we go. So literally like 100 sales and you're up at sort of a 584. So that's still a 2x from here, but I just don't see 100 sales really coming in too soon. But I think Doodles are certainly worth a play if you can maybe sort of this level here. So what's that, about the one? Yeah, so the high 1 ETH sort of range, low 2s is probably a good level once you start to see. So as you can see, what I like to keep an eye on is listings. You ideally want to see them come down if you want it to pump, and then if they're going up, that's great as a buy up, because that likely means that pressure gets put down to those levels. It is, as you can see, there's a bit of a wall. Yeah, a bit of a wall to 2.7. If you are someone that prefers just to set a particular price, as you can see, the bid is quite low because Blur hasn't been incentivized anymore. It's really good because you actually will see some genuine bids be hit here. So if you wanted to, you could set a bid maybe here at 1.99 or maybe 1.92. And if you're happy to buy at that region and hold longer term, that can be a really good play. So Doodles is probably the only ETH collection I'm really looking at. Like, I haven't looked at these for a while. Still bear trend here. Like, yeah, the highs here at the 4. This is still going down. I don't know. I just don't for me, like, a lot of people love the sort of meme art. I just don't. Like, I buy it because of the fundamentals of this being a meme coin cycle. If I'm buying art, I'm probably buying Doodles or Pudgies or something like that. I mean, CryptoPunks are pumping, man. Like, I think if you had money, that's probably not a bad bet, but not probably worth the trade. DGods though on ETH, it's so interesting that they're spread across so many chains. But we'll look at it on Solana instead. So yeah, my top pick, guys, on Ethereum would probably still have to be Doodles. And Doodles under sort of that, around that 1.9 sort of region is a good buy longer term, in my opinion. I mean, like, I don't know about you, like, it's art is obviously subjective, but for me, I think this art slaps. Like, that is sick, man. Like, look how cool that is. So that's me on Doodles. Let's go to other Sol collections. So that was my ETHs. I was sort of analysis. Mad Lads are so funny on the timeline, man. They were super, like, confused when I bought a DGod. But yeah, like, the trade, like, when I traded this, I bought up here at the 83, so it must have been around here. If I just connect my wallet, I can actually check, but I won't do that. But if we're looking here, why is this chart so low? This is really annoying. Let me just pull up listings so it's a bit easier to see the trend and pull that up a little bit higher. So, I mean, like, listings are going down. Like, you're in a downtrend here. But again, like, I just, like, what catalyst? Like, the catalyst here for buying Mad Lads was they had, like, so many bullish things on the horizon. You had airdrops, you had backpack, you had all this hype. The art, I kind of like the art. I prefer DGod art personally compared to Mad Lads. That's why I went with a DGod. But yeah, buying here during hype with listings aggressively coming down. That's what I like. That's the trade I want to see. This doesn't show me anything yet. If anything, like we might be setting sort of a higher low here. So keep an eye on listings for Mad Lads. I mean, like, yeah, if you see Mad Lads down here below sort of like in the 40 to 30 region, I think that's a good swing trade. But yeah, you see, like the trend is still very much in a downtrend, sort of like that. So that's what I'm looking for them. But I mean, you can use fibs if you want from zero or from like the lows. Like, I mean, that low to there, which would have been just dumped, but like zero is usually a little bit better. So if we go zero for that, let's have a look where it's at. So I mean, it is above the 786. So in theory, like if you can get one for maybe low 50s, if that's within your budget, that could be a play, just as long as listings are sort of going down a little bit more. Whereas if we go and have a look at DGods, so that's up 2 sol now from when I bought. Yeah, look at this beautiful pump. But you are seeing, yeah, so listings still are quite, yeah, they're probably going to go up. I do think this comes back down. We are like I probably will be. I don't see this stopping just yet. But if I take the swing low to the swing high, this is why I did buy. Like, I mean, like I'm happy with the risk to reward there. I wanted a new PFP. I found one that suited the art that I liked, and that sort of thing. And I mean, 33% down is a beautiful sort of trade back up here. So that's a 50% trade. So. And like that's 26 Solana, that's quite a bit of money. So, I mean, yeah, the risk to reward here is nice, but I mean, this trend could continue down. And I mean, if it does go back down, I probably won't buy here at the 618 because I've already got one. And I'd probably rather buy Utes here at this level, which the chart is very similar. But I probably would definitely ape into another DGod down here in the high teens. So, yeah, mid 17s is definitely a level I would buy some DGods, in my opinion, which would be probably still a macro like higher low, like, and that's your level there, 19 potentially. So yeah, just keep an eye on DGods. I'm happy being a hold up for now. I think it's a good play. The better play is probably Utes because it's not going to let me go. The better play is Utes because the same risk to reward, right? So if we look at this, like, you have less exposure, and listings are coming down on Utes as well because they're more affordable. But if you look at this, like, yeah, it's the same play. So they both were down about the same percentage. That's why I bought a Ute initially. But I just wanted a PFP change. And as you can see, this sort of, like, yeah, a pump here is still 50%. So it's the same sort of trade. You just don't have to put up as much Solana. Obviously, with the DGod, you probably make more Solana because it is worth more. So it's high risk and high reward. Whereas the Ute is obviously lower risk, lower reward, but obviously lower risk to the downside too if it does break down. Like, this is a bit of a different chart. Like, I mean, it kind of has sort of changed that trend there. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for Utes. And I mean, listings is coming down, which is great to see. Like that. So they're probably the main collections I'm looking at on Solana. If I just have a look, like SMBs, I don't know. I just don't like the pixel art personally. So that's why I'd go. And like community, like there's some huge people on Twitter with SMBs, but I don't know. I'd prefer DGods and Fuzzy, and that's probably just a personal choice. And art is obviously subjective. Now this one, this is still in a downtrend, guys. So even though a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Kleino's, like, we are still in a macro downtrend. Like, you are starting to see like a beautiful like listings coming down, which is great. We are still setting macro lower lows, like lower low. This reminds me of the ETH BTC chart, lower low, lower low. We have not made a higher high. So until that, for me, I'd probably still say opportunity here is likely buying a dip on a Kleino. So maybe down here in the golden ratio. So low teens would be a great buy. If not, maybe, yeah. So anywhere from 10 to probably 14, 13 and a half is probably not a bad buy on a Kleino, particularly with listings coming down. Their IP is excellent. That team is goated in the entertainment industry. So fundamentally, they have a lot that they could push in the future. So I think this is not a bad sort of area. And we are starting to put maybe a bottom here. Like, if you watch this as a coin, if you do this, like, that is technically an accumulation period for NFTs or for coins or for whatever it is. So yeah, keeping an eye on Kleinos. That's probably one I'm not buying just yet, but am keeping an eye on. And then lastly, the other one would be Retardios. Let's have a look at those. This was that, yeah, we were looking at that potential breakout trade. Again, it still has pressure to the downside here. We could be looking at a potential break now, but not yet. Not yet. Like, I mean, listings have dropped off Yeah, I mean, listings are coming down. So this bottom could be not far away. If I just, let's go from the ultimate low to the all-time high. I mean, yeah, we are holding that fib. So keep an eye on this, guys. I mean, the coin is probably the same. So if you'd rather be more liquid, then hold your money in a, like at 13 sol, but also in an NFT, then buy the Retardio coin, because it probably is very identical to this chart. So probably holding high fibs, that sort of thing. So keep an eye on Retardio. So they're probably the collections I'm looking on Solana NFTs right now. Nothing more really that really floats my eyes in the sort of short term to medium term sort of play. But let's go now to the Bitcoin side of the market, and I'll just double check the chat, see if there's any questions. Meta bonus, I'm not going to check Billy. That's one that obviously died ages ago. The hash rate indicator, I think I put that in the trading channel already. So you can search that, I think. If I haven't, let me know, and I can definitely give that one to you. It's just on the look into Bitcoin. That's the page that I use for that. Fog we can have a look at. I'll do that quickly. Let's look at Fog before we go to ordinals. So this is consolidating sideways, like I thought it probably would. So I mean, if when you go from here to there in the space of like 12 days, you do a 10x at that sort of evaluation, you need to consolidate. This chart's kind of like not doing too much for me right now. I mean, in theory, you could probably say something like that. So Fog is consolidating. If you're still holding it back, you might as well keep holding it for a lot higher. But yeah, I'd be keeping an eye on that sort of playing out over the coming sort of probably weeks. Yeah, probably weeks. All right, so ordinals. So for me, I haven't bought a puppet yet. Listings at 1200. It has been slowly creeping up. I mean, hopefully you guys can see this. I did the wrong time frame. I hate that it does that. All right, let's go to the daily. There we go. So this is what I'm looking at. Like I want to see strength in the chart. And like I showed you before, I can't draw on this, but this is still lower highs. So lower high, lower high. That is a higher low. A higher high. So that's good to see. But then still macro, it's still lower high. So if this one can break above and hold that 0.11, but this is why I still haven't bought listings. That's a clear uptrend from June. So people are still selling their bags. So until this starts to show significant sort of downside price action, in terms of listings coming down, then I probably don't quite, like I'd rather see strength than look to buy here. In saying that, if you do see one below 0.07, I think that's probably not a bad buy. Like, I mean, you could swing trade this so often, like, and I mean, 0.03 BTC, I don't even know what that's worth. Like, just quick math times, what are we at? 56,000. Like, I mean, that's $2,000. Like, so if you're aggressive, you can literally eat these dips. They usually do get bought up. Anywhere below that sort of 0.8 down to 0.6 is a great probably DCA for BTC puppets if you're patient. And again, if you have the liquidity and the time and the money to do that. So that's what I'm looking at for them. Outside that, well, I hope ME makes me a bag. That's really, I've got 121,000, so I'm not sure if that is good or not. But yeah, so outside that, no monkeys. I don't know. I prefer it's art is subjective. And for me, I prefer the puppet sort of play. It didn't do the 30. Like this chart looks even worse. Like that did do the daily. There we go. So like you still got, we are maybe coming down, but we still got listings coming up. I mean, this chart just looks crazy. Like the fact these went to nearly, they did go to Bitcoin. That's just crazy. 0.9. Oh, imagine holding from there. That's why it's important to take profits, guys. That is a lot of money. That's 0.8 of a Bitcoin right there over the space of like 7 months. Oh my Lord. Yeah. So that's also, I'd rather hold Bitcoin than these plays at the moment. But regarding nodes, you kind of still, you've set a lower low there. We look to be maybe attempting a new high. So keeping an eye on that one. I just prefer puppets personally. If we go back and have a look at some other collections, OMBs, I don't know, the sentiment just hasn't been there. Again, look, you want to trade volume and look at the trades here. There's a lot more liquidity in those two collections than these. So that's more of an art play for me, OMBs. So I won't touch them, to be fair. Quantum Cats, I'm not going to touch either. Again, it's illiquid at the moment. And also they've got the Wizards coming out or whatever the hell's happening there. As you can see, this is on the 1 day. So the pizza ninjas are also illiquid, guys. So I don't know. People who rep a ninja, I do think it's a good community. as you can see, they only got 100 sales in the past month. So that's a worry for me. I want to be trading, if I'm trading, which we are doing probably with these, I want to be trading stuff that has high volume and high turnover rate. So for me, I'm keeping probably lack of interest there. So 6.5% is good for listings. Let's look at its chart compared to a few others. And then we might wrap there, guys, because that's a good coverage of the market so far. So, I mean, it is a really nice trend. You obviously broke the trend there. So the buy was obviously probably this breakout there or that retest there at the 0.1. So, yeah, this is going up, but listings are going up. So, I probably don't touch that. And like I said, it's illiquid as, so it's extremely slow moving. So for a trade, I just don't think it's a good trade. Again, if you like the art, you like the art. That's subjective and that's up to you. Like, I mean, the art's cool. Like, I kind of don't mind the art. Don't get me wrong. Like, this is pretty clean art. Very clean art. In my opinion, you know what? I look at these on a bigger scale. They kind of look cool. But yeah, no, for me, I'm not probably trading these because it's just not liquid enough for me or not enough volume. So I hope that makes sense. All right. Pixel Sappy Seer. I don't even know. PIXL. Let's have a look. What chain is it on? ETH. This looks pretty liquid with only 20 something K market volume. Yeah, that's probably another chart you're seeing turning around soon. Like, the thing with memes is that they have a community. Like, I mean, is Sappy Seals going to do anything about this? I mean, you could, in theory, again, test the 0.886 and maybe look for a buy there. But yeah, I'm not really seeing too much with this chart at all, really. Oh my God. Oh, wait, dude, wait, what? I didn't know you could do that. Info line with a trend. Oh, that's sick. Dude, you learn something new every day. Anyways, let's get rid of that. But yeah, no, so it's still a downtrend. You want to see it sort of maybe find a bottom like here along the 0.886, which, I mean, it kind of maybe did previously and has a few liquid events there. So yeah, probably nothing for me. Waiting, on the game, I just hold what I got for staking. Yeah, fair enough, exactly. All right, well, that's pretty much it, guys. Let me check the chat just to see if there's any other questions. Aura might be interesting to watch. Yeah, no, Thomas is chatting to me in the chat. Yeah, no, cool. All right, nothing more. So if there's no questions, I'll stay for a little bit. Like, we can do a little Q&A if anybody has any questions. Let's go back. Couldn't find the indicator. Okay, let me find it for you. Here we go. Oh, no, it was on a different website. My apologies. If you just type in hash rate, you should be able to find it, but there you go. And I'll throw that in the trading help hash rate. Just add that. Oh, it is that. Oh, no. Interest rates. My apologies. There you go. Yeah, total hash rate. There we go. Cool. Let's check the chat. Have you checked out Nero yet? No, that's a good play. Are we still, if anyone's still in that short, let's have a look. I think I closed the short because it was being too aggressive. Yeah, it did. It broke out of this as soon as it didn't break down here, that was I took a lot of profits there, set my stop loss to break even. So yeah, no, this looks pretty good for higher in the short term, which is pretty crazy because it just literally went from absolutely nowhere. So if we delete that now, so yeah, no, I'm not touching that. At some point, this likely goes and comes back down and retests all this down here. Like, you've got FVGs, like that very much should be retested there likely, but you can't short from here. I'm not shorting from there. I mean, I could, like, what I would look for Nero would be probably maybe a double macro top, something like that. So that's an awful drawing, but like something like this, you know, like if it pumps up here, I'd be looking for the short up in this region here at all-time highs if we get there. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Nero. Oh, it's stuck on ninjas. No. All right, so Nero. All right, let's get back. All right, well, at least the recording has my screen. But yeah, so Nero not touching here. I'd short from the top here if we did see it. But again, that's quite risky with strength. Pixel, no, I'm not touching this. I think I didn't show this screen before. So Pixel, I'm not touching that personally. Anything else? When do you decide to draw your fibs as a reverse trend trade? I use both, T-Ward. I use both. So for me, like, I mean, it like on altcoins, right? On swing trades, like scalp and swing trades. So macro range shows you sort of where macro is, but obviously on a swing trade. So for example, if this is the top on this, I'd be then waiting for it to come back down here. and maybe look for long opportunities off these levels here probably, okay? Shallow fibs is what I want to be seeing for strength off this move. And like it probably, oh man, I've done the wrong chart. I need to close my tabs, too many tabs. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I'd be like, I draw it from obviously 0 to the top, and then I draw the swing trade. So this is this one over here. The left one is from the 0 to the top, whereas this second one here is from, if we come over to the side, is from this level to that level there. And then I'd be waiting for it to, yeah, come to these shallow fibs over here for longs. But if you don't see it, then you don't see it. And that's why the shallow fibs really work well on altcoin scalp trades on like the 5 or the 15 or the hour time frame. All right. The hash rate. Oh, no, the hash ribbon. The hash ribbon. That's hash ribbon. Hash ribbon indicator. Hash ribbon. Yeah. Cool. That's a hash ribbon indicator, which I think I have definitely put in there. To respect the trend fib or the macro fib. On a meme coin, we'll see, no, like for example here, good question. On something like this, like I've just drawn this fib here. Usually I want to see like, this is probably a poor example. Let me see if I can find one on like Bitcoin or Solana instead. Let's go down here and let's tidy this up. There's a lot of my charts at the moment. Let's look at this. So, for example, right? So for example, you could say like, I want to see an obvious high. Okay. So that's where like with Nero, there hasn't been an obvious high yet. Whereas on Bitcoin, as you can see, we have retested this 15-minute sort of zone right here. And that is an obvious high. So that shows me the range on this low time frame swing trade or scalp trade, if you want to call it that. Let me just tidy that up a little bit. Is from this macro low here to this sort of swing high trade rare there. Now, obviously, if there's a lot of strength, then you probably are targeting here, okay, off either the 0.382 or the 0.5. But obviously, if there's more weakness here, then likely we do revisit the golden ratio. If there's more, like, and this, that would be quite bearish actually, because, I mean, we could come down here, steal the liquidity, do something like that. Is probably what I would like to see, and I am short from here based on macro setups as well. So I probably, yeah, and this kind of works with if you are short, right? So if I am short from current point down to here, like that's my sort of TP is about that 54.7. Even a TP here, high 59, 55.9, or down here at the top of this liquidity here as well, at sort of 55.4 is probably where I also use the swing trade fibs to find long opportunities. So we're looking for longs maybe from here back towards that sort of high range there with a tight stop loss probably below that liquidity over there or that low over there. So as you can see, that's a 2.65 trade. Alternatively, obviously, we are then also, and this is the beauty of trading, right? You can do both ways. So I am then obviously doing this. So I'm also got a short here with a stop at 58.150. And then I'm obviously looking to target down here too. So that's a risk to reward of 2.04. If we visit here, there's obviously liquidity down here that ideally I want to see come back and test maybe down here, ideally. But yeah, so as you can see, you can long and short it at the same time. If I just make that a little bit clearer, get rid of my arrows. You can long and short the same plays on scalp trades all the time. So yeah, currently short. I'm shorting into potentially looking for longs over here. So that's what I'm looking at. So yeah, great question. Hope that clarifies it. No, that's all right. You have it listed somewhere I can find. No question is a bad question. All right, cool. Well, if there's nothing else, guys, I might jump off, but let me know. I'll stay for a little bit longer just to see if there's anything that pops up. If not, I'm still in this short on Bitcoin. Like I said at the start, I'm still think momentum is still to the downside, 56.8 on the 15 minute. So we likely consolidate sideways here for a bit of time. And I mean, like this is what beauty is. Like we have a macro time setup, and on the micro stages, you could say there's a bit of a sort of consolidation sort of forming like this. Okay, so resolution for this potential trade is likely going to occur in the next sort of probably so these are 15-minute periods by tomorrow. So like we could consolidate sideways, which is where momentum is as well. Like momentum's still in the middle at the 15 as well. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just keeping an eye on this. If we do start to make a 15-minute Like if we start to break above these two levels, then that's likely a cut for me because we do maybe revisit up here. But I do have a few, like this orange line up the top, let me just clean that up again. This is still a downtrend, this orange line as well. Let me get rid of these just to make it really clear. This is still a downtrend, right? So if we just zoom out a little bit, yeah, so this macro orange line is still a downtrend from these liquidity events multiple times. So that's why I do have one more order up here at 57,550, about there is where it is, and which retests liquidity like quite a few times way back here in August, here a few times in August as well, and way back here in for a while. So for me, this looks like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, you got to play with trading. It's probabilities. It's based on setups. So I'm just waiting to see what happens. So yeah, we likely won't see this short maybe play out until tomorrow night in Europe. So that's like, about 24 hours away, I suppose. All right. Is it a specific creator? Yeah, here, I'll put it up for you. Hash ribbon. It's just called Hash Ribbons by this person. Caproli Charlie, maybe? I'm not sure what the next one is. So that's the one that I use. It's the most common one. Yeah, 14,000 people follow that one. Interesting at these levels. No, we looked at with earlier, Pat. So not yet. unless we look at the breakout. Which I would like to see strength from Bitcoin first, but no, I would like to let's just clean this up. There's a bit going on. So no, I want to long from this white box down here, ideally. But obviously, if we do break out, then potentially you could long the retest here, or obviously if you want to retest the sort of breakout of the 0.618. But yeah, I mean, this is why it's spot. Like this is a spot accumulation here, or obviously if you caught the long down there, or if you caught the long there off support, or if you caught the longs down here in the current move, then that would be the play. But no, not this random mid range here. That's not a long possibility. Yeah, I'd rather a lower entry for whiff. Yeah, easy.